In the light of the shepherd, you're listening to the 100 Podcast, a show about CW's sci-fi series, The 100. I'm Daniel Prime.
Hallowed be his name, and I'm Olga, the devoted disciple. Today, we're discussing Season 7, Episode 14, entitled A Sword of Homecoming.
So, these are our first reactions. Every week, we get together right after the episode airs. We say, what did we think about this? And we just spit our feelings out there. And then the following Monday, we put out a more advanced, in-depth, epic podcast. And this is the first episode without Bellamy.
Mm-hmm. In the wake of his, I was going to say passing, but it really wasn't a passing. It was a bloody murder.
Yeah,
so.
In the wake of his murder, we decided, because I know there are some people who might not watch, or at least not watch right away. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to do a mini-ish recap during these so you know what's going on.
Right. So a little bit different. We're not going scene by scene right now. No, by no means.
I'm going to give the gist. The gist of it is they arrive on Earth. Surprise! Oh, everybody's on Earth.
So many freaking spoilers.
Gaia's been here the whole time. Shocking. And basically, they arrive in the bunker. Clark tells everybody what happened with Bellamy. They all forgive her. It's no big deal. We'll get back to that. Then they all sort of like, they're like, what do we do? Where's the stone? Blah, blah, blah. They use Raven's helmet to try to figure out where the stone is. Clark smashes that like she smashed her dreams last week. And so she's like, we're staying here. Everybody's good here. We're good. And so everybody's like, oh.
Here's all the ways we're not good.
So everybody splits up. So you have some partying going on with
Nyla and Gabriel.
And Hope and Jordan. And Maddie's mad at Clark.
It's in her name. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why we're surprised at her anger with Clark. It's been right in the writing since season 5.
You know, Miller and Octavia are freaking out about being back in the Second Dawn bunker and Blood Raina territory. Indra sort of has some nice moments with Gaia and with Octavia.
Reconciling with them a bit.
Echo's upset because she never told Bellamy about Ash, and Nyla helps
Also, she goes by Ash now, so going forward, we'll make that mistake and call her Echo.
Yes.
Just straight up.
Well, she never told me her name was Ash, so... Raven and Murphy and Amori are like trying to fix the helmet because they want to get back and help
the Sanctimites, because Murphy's a hero now and Amori continues to be horny. So for that,
as well she should. And meanwhile, in the evil lair of the disciples,
on Bardo,
Malachi has been reborn, and Malachi convinces Bill that he should go get Maddie for him because he's
been in her head and he knows how she works. And even though we'll get there, it's this freaking Shadeheader.
So Shadeheader, he goes. He's like, I'm gonna fight. He's invisible. He fucks around a little bit. He finds Maddie. At this point, she had left Clark because she was mad at her. Gabriel's playing. He's tinkling the ivories.
Tickling.
He's tinkling all over the ivories.
Oh, we laugh, but Dan.
He's tinkling the ivories.
And then
he gets stabbed. And then he fights off Malachi a little bit to protect Maddie. Eventually, they're about to defeat Malachi, Indra, and Gaia and Maddie together. And then he stabs himself with the little thing.
The teleport dagger.
Yeah, from the end of season 6. And so he's gone, and then they're like, what do we do? And then Gabriel's like, I want to die. So then he dies.
And it's sad.
Maddie's like, no one will die for me again. And she stabs herself, and everybody's upset. And then the disciples throw a bomb through the green hole thingy, and then there's
the anomaly.
And then there's an explosion, and Amori and Murphy...
The ceiling collapses onto Murphy and Amori. And it looks like our team might be separated in the bunker.
Yeah. So that's
here's your quick 5-minute recap of like 48 minutes of TV.
Highlights. So basically, I liked pieces of this episode. If you I mean, if you take out the Bellamy issue, which
that's a hard ask. Like, that's a big ask to try to separate this issue.
Yeah.
I mean, separate our thoughts away from Bellamy. But if you do,
there's stuff to like here. There's also stuff even without Bellamy to definitely heavily criticize. What are some things you liked?
Jordan and Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good job. You're adorable. You're traumatized teenager, young adults who have grown up without much parental guidance and been thrown in the deep end of the gray area that is life and war and death and suffering. You're handling it as best as can be expected, and that's by getting drunk and
and dancing
and being cute. So, I mean, they're my little, like, hope for the future nuggets. Because even though Maddie is kind of a hope for the future nugget,
I don't like her.
I know. We'll get. You asked me for the positive.
Yes.
I'm just saying, even though Maddie's like younger and has her like orphan friend gang that signify another new generation, the fact is that Hope and Jordan are really like the true carriers of that to me.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, fucking Hope is just amazeballs. I liked her stuff of grieving and feeling guilty and all that stuff. You know,
for having fun.
She has real emotion and she's great.
Yes.
Other positives, I think Raven, Murphy, and Amori were great. Their dynamic is good as always.
Yeah.
Indra had some great stuff with Octavia.
I think the Indra Octavia stuff is really great, and to a lesser degree the Indra Gaia stuff, it just didn't have as much screen time. Yeah. But really, like, the discussion of Blood Rain and the discussion of the bunker, it really was, like, poignant to me and acknowledging of the past in an appropriate way.
Well, the thing that's one of the big problems with this, the big struggles with this episode, is that it's exactly what I want out of 100 episode, but the Bellamy thing happened. So like I can't enjoy it, even though these are the kinds of episodes that I love.
Right.
Normally.
Yes.
Because it is, hey, we got a little Miller and Jackson scene. Hey, that scene with Echo and Nyla is sort of interesting. Indra and Octavia get a great moment. Gabriel playing piano with Maddie's not we even have a weird little thing with Murphy coming over to Hope, which was like small and like moments that you don't normally get to see on this show.
Yeah.
These are the things that I like. I thought there was some good direction from Nyla's the director.
Jessica Harmon.
I think that there was some good direction. There was some good, like, scary bits with Invisible.
Shade Hedda. As scary as that can be.
But there's so many character choices that just make me want to punch myself in the face.
I don't know if I want to punch myself in the face. There are people that feel like in the ether could warrant that. We didn't do anything, so the problem is that, like, it really did feel tacked on that Bellamy died, because it felt like there were just lines, and I guess to a degree, like a few scenes, especially the Clark scene where she is crying to the group.
I think basically it's the intro, and then each plot line got an extra line added.
Right. So the point is that if you remove those extra lines that were added and you recontextualize the intro scene, then this episode is, like, not just good, it's great. If Bellamy was still alive, is what I'm trying to say.
Even then, I don't know that I'd go... I'd say I would really enjoy it. I still wouldn't call it great, because there are things within this episode that are very frustrating.
I agree with you there, but to me, they're kind of at this point my standard level of frustrated with the show. Yeah. And if it's like an adjusted scale, then it would have gone into great territory. Yeah. Well, but
I want to go into details about how it feels like Bellamy was tacked on, right? Because you could have that intro scene be like, oh, where is Bellamy? Why isn't he with you? Right. Oh, well, we realized we had to leave him behind. We can't trust him anymore. Everybody's like, okay, sad, but we get it. Yeah. Then, like, the Miller scene, he mentions Bellamy, but the real drama of that scene is about his dad and about being back at the bunker.
And what he had to do to survive.
Octavia, you just cut off like the opening thing about her giving the blessing. Clark and Maddie, when they have the argument, just cut the Bellamy part out of that, and everything else still pretty much works.
Yeah, it's really more about Maddie being angry at being pulled out of Sanctum, where she was building a life. And I mean, I would argue in that scene she would come off as a little bit more of a petty teenager and less someone who had like good
I feel
points.
the opposite.
Yes, I know.
So my thing is, if she hadn't just killed Bellamy, then I can stomach Maddie being like, you forced me, took our choices, took everybody's choice away, and are forcing me to be away from all the people that I've started connecting with, and I'm sick of it. That to me is understandable, and I'm fine with it. Her doing that when Clark just had to kill the second most important person in her life made me feel like Maddie was being petulant and unfair, and I was annoyed at her, even though I was also annoyed at Clark. And so like they could have maneuvered that scene, even just changing the dialogue slightly to make me more on Maddie's side, and instead I just was mad at both of them.
I can see that, and I might like understand that point of view more, or switch to that point of view on rewatch. But as it stood now, the problem was that they really reverted Clark to her season 5 self here. Well,
they reverted both of them. They reverted Maddie and Clark.
Yes.
It felt like Maddie hadn't learned anything and Clark hadn't learned anything. Because, her smashing the helmet, immediately taking everybody's choices away, 100% a season 5 choice.
Yeah, because I don't think you mentioned it during the mini recap. They found the anomaly stone buried under the concrete somewhere in the bunker, and Raven was going to use the helmet to find it. So by smashing the helmet, no can do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was completely self-centered, completely, I'll just do whatever the fuck I want because I'm protecting Maddie. We've been through this, and at least people weren't super pissed at her, but like also they should have been. Like, I'm at this weird point where I'm struggling between I want them to be mad at her, but also I'm sick of people being mad at her.
Since they didn't get mad, and then like Maddie did this, I don't think we're gonna have that, and we shouldn't backtrack to it.
Well, also speaking of backtracking, should we backtrack to the fact that Octavia and Echo don't give a shit?
I mean, we're not surprised.
No, I mean, this is what we said on the last podcast, that they had set this up with him basically treating Echo, breaking up with Echo, and
Echo even being like, I fought for you, you didn't fight for me.
Yeah.
I'm also done with you.
Yeah. And Octavia being like, oh, Clark, I understand you. You'd do anything for Maddie, just like I'd do anything for Hope.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was a well-acted scene. I just like hated the context.
I don't buy it for a minute. I understand they put those things in there, and so in context of like the last 2 episodes, sure.
Right.
But you're telling me that Echo, who was about to commit genocide because one person was in self-defense, dropped a bomb and accidentally killed his own people and Bellamy, she's not mad at Clark because Bellamy had one bad conversation with her.
He broke up with her and betrayed them. That's 2 bad conversations.
That's not how love works.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
But it's how the show thinks it works. Again, in the context of things, this doesn't make sense. It's dumb. But also, I actually don't have it, but also, no, that's it. It's dumb.
Octavia dealing with being back there at the bunker is the first time since episode 2 that I've been interested in her character all season.
Yeah.
But I wasn't able to really enjoy it because of her not caring that much about Bellamy.
Because she should have been more upset about Bellamy than being at the bunker. Yeah. Also, just them, like...
Well, they also just kind of went away.
Yes, they did. But also, I was going to say her, like, having the flashbacks to the bunker and then her having the flashback to, like, hugging Bellamy in the fighting pit. I'm like... I would argue it would almost be more appropriate if she flashed back to, like, trying to sentence him to die in the fighting pit. Like, having that be more of the, like...
No, I can't remember if that was in there, too.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying I kind of wish that she had more lines about, like, one of the last times we were here, I was sentencing my brother to die. And now he's dead. Like, the fact that she didn't even have that discussion out loud, and it was mostly just about the trauma of Blood Reyna.
Yeah.
that kind of,
you can tell how things were shoehorned in.
Yes. Yeah.
And if anybody's confused about why we're saying things were shoehorned in, it's because that they straight up have said that there was a last minute change / surprise adjustment at the end of last episode. So,
AKA, it was not planned from the beginning of the season that Bellamy was to die in this way.
At least in that episode,
yes.
So there's that. Let's talk about Gabriel.
I think his death here was planned from a very early point, and
I don't know if they would have done these back to back if they had planned them.
Yes.
So there's good things and bad things about this.
Yes.
They gave Gabriel a good episode last week.
It was him having a confrontation of his past and his actions through Josephine, and therefore it kind of makes sense that he would die
and dealing with his own issues and finding closure.
Right.
This is where even if you don't want a character to die, they handle it well. Where, I'm not happy he died.
Right.
But he died protecting Maddie. He chose to let himself die because he was ready, and he did it after having closed an arc.
Yes.
And they found a way, I feel like, also of combining his season 6 arc and his season 7 arc with, I'm going looking for answers, and then him being like, well, I don't deserve the answers, basically.
Right. I am not a god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's a good way for him to die. That said, this show has killed a lot of men of color, and it is very uncomfortable, to say the least.
Yes. Yeah. There's something that some kind of introspection, I guess, that should take place about that. And that's another reason, yes, again, that kind of argues against the planning of putting their deaths back to back. I was really also afraid for Indra's life once again, by having her confront Shadehead in a fight again. And I cannot
believe that they didn't defeat him in this episode.
I'm really over Shadehead. Can we talk about Shadehead, or do we have more to say about Gabriel?
Let's talk about he should be dead.
So let's take this back to my big complaint, one of my big complaints from last week, which was Indra's stupidity of not executing him, and that not really super making sense with her arc of the visions of the red sun toxin for her there, and her being like, your death is to die slowly, and that's my mercy. Like, that doesn't make sense, and that's stupid, and she's a smarter tactician than that. And then we have him, so again, as predicted, he's alive, tortured. Bill is then stupid in this episode, where Shadehead literally tells him how he doesn't want to transcend, he doesn't want to be dead, he likes his new body. Oh, but I understand Maddie. Why can't Bill just tell his strike team to make sure that Maddie is alive and safe? Because you should understand, Cadigan, that Shadehead's motives are for himself, and he doesn't want Maddie to live and start the last war.
He told Bill everything Bill needs to know to realize this is a bad idea.
Yes, and Bill ignored all of the red flags.
And the only argument you can make is that Bill thinks so low of these meat sack humans that he, just didn't think he could be betrayed.
Which is
But, how many times has he been betrayed in the past month?
Yeah, not just that, but just in general, the reason he thinks so little of these meat sack humans is because of shit like this. It's so dumb that he would send Shadehead.
Well, I mean, Shadehead not only has plot armor, he has stupidity armor. It doesn't make a character isn't smart if they make everybody else stupid. You have to make them, if you want a villain to be smart, he has to be smarter than them. They still have to be smart.
Yes. So they're just making Shadehead chew the scenery and everyone else dumb. So then let's go back to Indra. And then she does, before hitting the striking blow again on Shadehead, she's like, your fight is over. And then that gives him enough time to stab himself with the teleport dagger.
And why on earth do we still need this character? I understand using him for this episode, and then he dies. And that changes nothing because you still have Maddie who has the knife, and she can still do that.
Yeah. I don't know what else they have planned for him, but I genuinely can't see the point of it.
Yeah.
We have 2 episodes of this show left. 2. That's it. And Shadehead the lowest point of season 6 and a thing that has gone on far too long in season 7.
Yeah.
Still alive and still like an antagonist.
Well, and then he's also stupid because he takes his helmet off for literally no reason.
Right.
I mean, that's villain stupidity. I can accept that more,
and then it gives them the helmet, and it gives Raven another semi-broken helmet too. So if she combines the two, it's fine.
But you know what would have been a lot better is if like Gabriel heard him launch himself off him, and the helmet got taken off of that.
Right. It flew off of his head. Yeah.
And well, there was also the whole stupidity of the portal opens, they're like, someone's invisible, and then nobody has any intelligent ideas at all of how to deal with, someone invisible is here.
Yeah.
They just all go, whoa!
Let's run looking for Maddie. It's like, they're looking for Maddie. Clark, why aren't you being smart enough to realize they might be following you? Why is no one saying there's an invisible disciple running around? You don't even have to assume it's Shade Hedda. You don't even know how many invisible disciples there
lock
are.
down all the levels that you're not on and stuff like that. Yeah,
I did like Shade Hedda locking them in the room.
Yeah,
that was a smart move for once. And him lifting Maddie off of the ground, that was some good choreography.
Yeah, they did some, Again, there were things that I liked about this. And I did feel the danger and the fear when he was going around. I was like, who is he going to kill? And how many? Because I really felt like he could kill anyone.
Yes.
And that was cool and exciting. And then we have Maddie being a moron and stabbing herself with the thing and going to Bill, making Bellamy and Gabriel's sacrifices completely useless. Mm-hmm. And, more Clark's sacrifice of shooting Bellamy. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Her and the stupidity. This is the other thing. I hate when characters don't say the thing that I'm saying, which is, why don't you mention to her that if she goes, many, many more people might die because you might all get crystallized. I
genuinely, why is no one saying that? Everyone's been accusing, or Maddie's been accusing Clark of selfishness, but and this is the thing that I think we had someone write in about Clark isn't actually just doing this to save Maddie. She's doing this for all of mankind. Not even Clark is saying that she's doing it for all of mankind, though. But maybe this is the episode where you bring up, just in case, once again, don't forget, Cadigan wants to start a last war where we're all going to be killed because he's going to fail it. Yeah. Why not say that? Why not have one person say that?
Yeah. I'm not saying that I don't understand Maddie's perspective and why she's doing what she's doing. It's just that they're putting her plot-wise in a place that's incredibly frustrating. When so much was done to protect her, and then she just says, fuck that shit. I'm just gonna go to the bad guy by myself.
And also we have the tincture that is also the thing that Bill takes that can teleport her. I'm kind of surprised Clark didn't immediately take that and be like, oh, no, young lady, I'm coming with you too, or something like that. I mean, at least to answer the Maddie going there by herself piece of it.
I just find it so frustrating.
Maybe this would make more sense if Bellamy was still a disciple who was also on Bardo. At least then it could be like Maddie let Gabriel die for her.
Well, okay,
but then...
I guess I do want to say you can argue Gabriel saved her from being murdered, and she doesn't think she's going to get murdered by Bill because she's going to do it willingly. But again, it doesn't stop the fact that no one gives her the valid argument against what she's doing, other than just don't do it.
We want to protect you.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It is, because this doesn't actually help her friends on Sanctum either.
No. I mean, I guess she can in her mind, she can bargain giving the information for the safety of her people and of, on both planets.
I guess so, maybe. All right. This was a very busy episode that didn't, in my opinion, fully carry the weight of the ending of 713, and therefore that was kind of its biggest failing.
Well, I mean, I think the thing that's most worrying to me is, in that quote that Jason put out at the end of last week, he was like, the feelings of Bellamy dying will reverberate through the centuries and all that stuff. And if this is the kind of reverberations he's talking about, my God.
It's not great.
No.
It's not enough.
No.
Yeah, just anything else that happens. A bomb going off, Gabriel's sacrifice, people being generally dumb. It's just everything is worse when you kill your second build character
you made a
early.
good point right after we finished about the scale, about how you're going
Yes,
backwards.
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
That the scale of that is, it outweighs anything that happened so far in this episode and that might happen next week.
Yeah, you're supposed to build up to your big climactic moment.
Right.
And when you've killed Bellamy, killing Gabriel feels like less of a thing as opposed to building.
It probably would have hit so hard had no one died last week.
Yeah.
But he did. Gabriel did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, when you kill Bellamy, I'm at the point where I'm just like, well, you don't need to kill anybody else the rest of the show, so I'm just a little frustrated when you do, because you've already proven you have balls. All right, if you want to let us know what you thought, please do so in the comments down below.
Or email us at the100pod@gmail.com.
Thank you for watching.
May we meet again.
May we meet again.